So apparently there's a rapture on tomorrow. I don't know. Apparently this is a big thing on TikTok. A bunch of Christians are saying that the rapture is going to happen, and it's just another one of these moments where it happens in history and then it doesn't happen, but we keep on going. And there's been a lot of funny jokes, and I think it is good that people generally are laughing at this openly on the internet. Like that's a great thing. Um, but it's also tough because I can't think of it without thinking about either things I've heard from people I know or just learning from people who have left high control religions and things like that, evangelicalism, talking about their childhood specifically and talking about being a child who is so scared of the rapture and is so scared of doing anything wrong, doing any sin, because everyone they know is going to die, and if you don't do the good things, you're not going up to heaven. And it just being this source of so much terror, um, and it can really become something that people have to work through a lot as adults. And that's just based on the way that this theology and this teachings and things you learn as a kid and know to be true are given to you. And so I can't help but think of that. And I'm very grateful for a lot of the ex-evangelicals, and just there's a big movement in the last couple of years of people, especially after COVID kind of switched things up. It gave people time to kind of figure out what they actually wanted and to kind of be free of rigid power structures, which I think is a beautiful thing. And I've learned so much from people sharing like this. And it's interesting because I did grow up going to church. Uh, I feel pretty lucky in a lot of ways, one of which is that this is actually something that my best mama was a part of. She was one of the first women in the ministry and priesthood. I think, gosh, I don't even know when this was, 70s or 80s or something. But my church had kind of gone through a big transformations in terms of their dogma and beliefs into a lot more of an accepting framework, which I'm grateful for because when I meet people who grew up in really intense situations, there is a bit of a shared connection, but at the same time, usually what I'm finding is like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I didn't have this placed upon me or have to deal with these thoughts. Like, by the time I came across like basically evangelical propaganda, I was thankfully like old enough and understood enough to be like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Which was funny because it was this thing talking about how like secular humanism is going to take over our school systems and like it's going to lead to the downfall of America, which was hilarious as a boy who was in Portland Public Schools. And I was like, yeah, this sounds like my school and it's great. And I love all these things for it. Um, so I'm grateful that by the time I'd experienced that, like I had that perspective. But I don't know. I'm just thinking a lot about all the kids who have been terrified and had a lot of anxiety and obsessive thoughts around the rapture, because I'm guessing that's coming up a lot with it being kind of viral and being kind of talked about on the internet. So I'll see you later unless I get zooped up into the sky and I leave all my clothes in a pile. But with that, I bid you adieu.